Greetings, fellow movie lovers. Welcome to 25 Cent Film, where we explore the world of cinema of the 21st century, 1 year at a time. I'm your host, McNeill Mullican, and I'm here with your co-host, Justin Da Silva. How's it going, Justin?
It's going good. I am excited about this episode.
I am too. So today we are talking about horror films in the 21st century. But in this episode, we're going to do something a little bit different from what we've normally done on 25 Cent Film. In the past, we've always done our top 5 film rankings for each year. We're still keeping it 21st century related. However, we are going to do a draft episode specifically on horror films. So it's the first time we've done anything like this. This is super exciting. The way this is going to work, Justin and I are going to go back and forth on our picks. It's not necessarily based on what our personal preferences are, but what we think is going to get us the most votes. So this is going to be all strategy. Now, we can have personal favorites in there, of course, because some of our personal favorites are going to align with the audience. But this is kind of more of like an objective list rather than like what our personal favorites are in our collection of 5. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. But I kind of wanted to ask before we get started, where do you stand on horror as a genre? Because I know a lot of people have like preferences in terms of what subgenres they're attracted to or drawn to for horror, or some people are just completely, adverse to the genre as a whole. Obviously, you and I are not. We're doing this episode, so we like horror movies. But I definitely have my preferences. I kind of wanted to get your take on the genre, though. Where are you on it?
Yeah, I have a random, deep-rooted love for slashers. It just kind of sparked one weekend when I was watching movies with a friend, and ever since then, it's just been slashers, like one of those genres for me, subgenres in the horror genre, that I could almost watch any of them, even if they're bad, I could still have a good time, Because those are the type of movies to me where it's like cheese just makes it funny, but as long as there's enough happening in there with kills or whatever, it's fun for me. But I think as far as like quality, what I love the most is the ones that lean more into the suspense thriller, but it's still also considered horror, which is also why sometimes it's hard to talk about horror, because we get these conversations where it's like, well, that's a thriller, or that's a suspense or drama more, and so, but I love that because it sparks that conversation that other genres don't really have. When you're talking about action, it's action adventure or sci-fi fantasy. Horror, you have so many different little subgenres that you could talk about, and like I said, slasher is one of those that I love the most, but I think suspense thriller is also like, it's right there. And if you have all 3 in one, boom, you sold me.
Right. You make a good point with the suspense thriller situation, because to use a non-21st century film as an example, a lot of people have a debate over whether a movie like Seven is a horror film. Is it a horror or is it a thriller? That one to me is more of a thriller in my book rather than a horror movie. But I could see the case for it. But movies like that, it's like, is it a horror film? Is it a thriller? Yeah. There's a lot of ambiguity there, and I think it's really interesting. It makes for interesting discussions. So like we talked about before we started filming, if one of us does bring up a film that we think is maybe more in a thriller territory rather than the horror, then we can kind of open up that debate and see if it actually qualifies for one of our draft lists here. Yeah. As for me, I have a little different of an experience with the genre as a whole compared to you. I really wasn't introduced to horror until I was probably 16, I'd say. I was never really interested in it or drawn to it beforehand or before that. And then when I hit 16, I watched The Conjuring. It had already been out for a few years, and I watched it, and I thought it was great. And it kind of like immediately made me immune to horror films, because honestly, to this day, I'd still consider that to be one of the scariest that I've seen. And maybe it was just because it was at the time I watched it and I was really scared. And then since then, I've been fine. Yeah. But it's, I would say the type of horror I gravitate toward is psychological for sure. And also gothic, that's a big one for me, and folk horror. I would say those are the 3 I like. I like supernatural horror to an extent. It's not my favorite. I'm not a big fan of slashers, not a fan of body horror. I like horror with substance, not
Yeah.
just like the force of nature threat. That's
Not
not really
the
my cup of tea.
substance.
That's a different kind of substance, I'd say.
Yeah.
But
No.
yeah, that's a lot of different horror meshed into one right there.
Yeah. I
I
still
guess
gotta
that
watch that.
could be. Oh, never mind. I guess it may not make our list or either. We'll see. We'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah.
I do want to point out, though, that, different decades have different reputations when it comes to the horror genre. And after all, this is the 25-cent film where we talk about the films in the 21st century. And so in the 2000s, I think there were some great, incredible horror films. Same with the 2010s. But I think overall, the genre's been hit or miss in those 2 decades. The 2020s, we have been absolutely spoiled
Yeah.
by the horror genre. There are so many great horror films that have come out in the last 5 years. It's insane. And there's still more that look really promising coming out around this time. I don't know exactly if it's going to be right before or after this episode drops, but what's that movie coming out? Weapons.
Yeah. I keep
Looks-
seeing ads
Weapons.
about that, man.
Dude, it looks incredible. Like, I mean, it's just constant trailer after trailer for horror films, and they all are like, they're really killing it for the most part, other than whatever comes out in January.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And honestly,
All right.
one of the films that came out, I think it was in January of this year, maybe February. I'm not sure. I got around to watching it a couple months ago, and it might make my list. Who knows? But I think it is
We'll
one of
see.
the best of the 2020s. Like you just said, like we've been spoiled, and that one's definitely
Yeah.
one that will stand the test of time for sure.
Absolutely.
Ambiguity is our favorite when we're not trying to say what the movie is yet.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get started. We're going to use a coin to flip and see who goes first. You want to call
it a quarter?
It is a quarter.
Amen.
I feel like it'd have to be for a 25-cent film.
Amen.
It just doesn't have my head on it like the logo does.
Yeah.
It's got George
Got
Washington.
to get one.
Anyway. Yeah. That would be awesome. All right. Are you going to call heads or tails?
I will go tails.
All right. It's tails. You want to go first or second?
I'm gonna go second.
Really? Okay, cool. Because it's not a
Yep.
snake draft, so it's just going to go back and forth the whole time since there's only
Yep.
2 of us.
Mhm.
I'm not sure like how much overlap we have here in terms of like what's on our list. I've just doubled the amount that I know I need to end up with.
Mhm.
But I'm going to go with probably my favorite horror film to come out in this century, and that is American Psycho.
Dang it. Solid.
That's
pick.
the one I felt like you might grab, so I wanted to go for it first if I could. I love American Psycho. It made my top 5 list for the 2000 episode, and I'm fully aware that for people who are, want to get all technical about it, 2000 is technically not the 21st century, but I feel like most people don't understand that, so it
Yeah.
counts. That's why we did the episode. It counts for all the episodes, so
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, I love American Psycho. It's I think honestly it's a movie that people could overlook in terms of what it's actually saying. It's a black comedy, satirical, slasher, psychological horror film. I feel like there's a lot of different subgenres it could kind of classify as, but I think primarily it's black comedy or psychological because once you get to the end of it, you're thinking, did he do it?
Yeah.
And
Dude, it's
Christian Bale does
incredible.
such a great job of, I know, dude, it's so good. Christian Bale does a great job of like portraying somebody absolutely losing his mind, but you also, he's charismatic at the same time. So like you have a fun time watching him be absolutely insane, but you also are like, you're not rooting for him. It's kind of the Dexter situation, except he's just more full blown evil. But then you also have like the revelation, did he or did he not do it? It's such an iconic horror film. There's so many great moments. It's very entertaining. It's hilarious. I think, a lot of people that maybe don't like the genre that much will watch the movie and not realize that it is, a social commentary on that lifestyle, like the yuppie lifestyle in the 80s. it's so funny. Like it is. There's so many laugh out loud moments, like things you shouldn't laugh at, but you are, and it pulls it off. Dude,
Oh man,
it's so good. It's so good. So
there's
yeah,
so
it
many
had to be my
memes too,
first pick.
man.
I
Like
know. Yeah.
like that what you're saying. It's so funny. Like even now, I mean, that was what that's 2000. Literally 25 plus years, and it's still relevant. Just like we were talking about last week. I mean,
Yeah.
it does say something when meme culture takes over, but at the same time, it's like it is that good of a movie at you know on that level with the greats. And one other thing that I didn't know until like the second time watching it, I don't know if it was you that told me or someone else, but the scene with Willem Dafoe's character when he's asking Bale's character the questions, or Bateman, whatever. They shot it like three different ways with three different directions on Dafoe asking the questions, and they intercut all those different
Yeah.
ways of it being shot, so it leaves us as the viewer even more confused, which is genius. Like I don't think I've really ever seen another movie do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a genius way to edit that scene for
Hmm.
sure, or any scene in that film. I don't know how often they did it.
Yeah, honestly,
But
true.
it
Yeah.
just it adds to like just the whole ambiguity of the characterization of Patrick Bateman. You know, like it's a brilliantly written film. It's brilliantly acted.
Hmm.
It's a classic for sure. That
Yeah.
that scene with the business cards cracks me up. So funny. Or that line where he just says, "I want to fit in," and he's so serious about it. It cracks me up every time.
Oh, and the other one, he's like, "Why not, you stupid bastard?"
Yeah, yeah. All right,
Oh
what's your
man.
first pick gonna be?
Okay, so to let the viewers know, I am not as smart as McNeill. I listed 49 titles. Um, now, American Psycho was one of them, so now I have 48, thank God.
Yeah,
But
you
I
narrowed it
think I
down.
am going to go with. I can't not go with what I think is probably definitely top five horror films I've ever seen, and I don't think that I'll ever change. And it's probably one of the scariest I've seen, and that is Sinister.
Hey, science would agree with you because it was declared the scariest horror film of all time after they did experiments on people's heart rates through different horror films.
I believe it. Like I know some people might say Insidious, Conjuring is definitely probably up there. Definitely, probably, definitely up there, and some other ones for
I think
sure.
The
But I don't know.
Exorcist is in that conversation as well.
Yeah, Exorcist is one that I'll never watch again, and so that probably tells you everything you need to know. It that
Yeah,
that got under my skin in a weird way that I don't want to feel again.
yeah.
um,
There is a scene in Sinister though that like because it's like there's a lot of found footage
hmm
that's surrounding them. It's not a found footage film, but it's a film about found footage.
yeah,
And there's a particular piece in the movie that like you see it in the pool.
dude, I just got chills.
I
That's the one
can't.
that I do not like thinking about.
That's the one that gets me every time, every
It
single time.
Yeah, no, I've intentionally paused it on that frame to scare other people so that way I would feel better about myself. But it is terrifying. That one,
Yeah.
another one that I think about is the computer screen when all of a sudden
Yes.
I don't remember if it pops out or it just turns and ooh. I know I'm sounding like a little girl right now, but it truly is like and it's one of those that is one of the other things I love about it, besides Ethan Hawke's incredible performance, besides the writing in many scenes, the argument scene in the bedroom, I think that's one of the best like marriage
That is a good one.
argument scenes I've ever seen. And man, what was I gonna say? The it's not like your typical, which a lot of these aren't going to be typical horror movies with like jump scares, but this one specifically just feels like on a different level where it does not rely on that. And when it happens, like the pool or the computer, it's such a quick little moment that just lasts in your mind for a lifetime. And I think that's why it's going to be one of the greats. And I don't think I could ever see myself not mentioning it whenever we're talking about good horror movies. If we're talking about bad, I'll bring up the sequel. But I
I never watched the sequel.
Me either, but I know it's
for that one.
probably absolutely bad.
Yeah,
But this is
yeah.
one that
And shout out to
yeah,
my bad. Go ahead.
thriller, horror, mystery, suspense. I'd say it's definitely horror, but it does have a lot of
Oh
thriller
yeah,
vibes
hundred
as well.
percent. Yeah, but I wouldn't like if somebody wanted to argue thriller, I wouldn't even understand that one. Like I mean, science would disagree.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
for real.
I mean, there's a factual basis to come back at
Yeah.
towards somebody if they were like, that's not a horror movie. I'm like, the scientists say otherwise.
Yeah. Go talk to them, man. I'm just talking about the film.
Yeah, yeah. And
No,
shout
but
out to
yeah.
Scott Derrickson. He's a great horror director because that's not the only one he's done. He did a couple others, and including The Black Phone, and I mean, he did Doctor Strange. That's not a horror film, but
I still gotta
he's
watch
a great
Black
horror
Phone.
director. Yeah, dude, Black Phone is great. Black Phone is
Oh, he
really
did Doctor
good.
Strange too.
He did.
I
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
do have a very big soft spot for the first Doctor Strange. I know I'm
That's a
in the
good movie.
minority.
And he did The Gorge, which recently, which I know is a film that you really liked.
He did The Gorge. Bro,
Yeah, yeah.
I love this dude.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, he's an underrated director because, like, I mean, all of his movies, that at least of the ones that I've seen, I really like.
Yeah.
People just don't give him enough credit. He's
That's-
really talented.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that in mind. Scott Derrickson.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
director.
No, I right now, I mean, obviously I'm mildly biased, and so are you as far as our picks. But right now, I think we're even.
Yeah, yeah, and I like
Honestly.
the. I mean, not that we're deep into the list or anything, but we've got two very different picks. I'm curious to see where the variety goes from
Yeah.
here. All right,
Number two.
my number 2 pick. Yep. There's a few here that I could pick between. I kind of got them ranked by like, I don't even really know. It's not by personal preference necessarily because I think the order would be a little different. I guess I'm trying to go with what I also think people like as well as what I like.
Yeah.
And I also feel like I raved about this movie in the 2018 episode, and I've got to go with A Quiet Place.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, this movie is so good because of how it utilizes sound. I went on and on about this in that episode, but I feel like in an era where the silent film clearly does not exist anymore, we're like essentially a century away from when that was commonplace in the film industry.
Yep.
A Quiet Place is like a modern version of what a silent film could be like today, if that makes any sense, because there's very little dialogue. There's so many quiet, intimate scenes, but when the big moments hit and the sound does happen, the jump scares hit even harder because it's just so much more power and sound coming at you. Unlike the usual stereotypical, some might say, jump scare that you would get in just your standard horror film that comes out in whatever part of the year.
Yeah.
But A Quiet Place was really special. It really resonated with a lot of people that are fans of the genre or fans of apocalyptic science fiction alien movies. So much so that it's spawned a sequel and a spin-off and supposed to have more coming, I think. I don't really know what's happening in the future of this franchise, but there's the fact that John Krasinski, known for being Jim in The Office, directed, wrote, and starred in this movie. You really got to peek into a different side of his creativity, and I really appreciated that. His chemistry with Emily Blunt is amazing. And like, all the performances are great, the score is great and everything, but it just as a horror movie alone, it works so well. Just the sound design of the aliens, the environmental sounds that you would never really pay attention to in the average film because it's dialed up so much in this one because everything's so quiet. You hear the sounds of like, feet shuffling a little bit or, the wind blowing or just regular sounds that everybody takes for granted. But because it adds so much suspense to that movie. yeah, I just,
And yeah,
I'm so glad this movie exists.
yeah, and adding on to the lack of sound is the daughter character who's
Yes.
she's deaf, correct?
Yeah.
Or is she mute? Yeah, she's deaf.
Hmm.
But yeah, that like you feel it. Like you feel the closest you can feel from what I'm imagining to like feeling what being deaf, especially in this world, would feel like. So you have
Yeah.
the lack of sound that you know she's experiencing, and we're experiencing the lack of sound. It's just I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how he like had the balls to do that type of movie because I think at that
I know.
time there were some good horror movies in the 2010s, but I don't think it was a thriving genre at the time. Like you said, the 2020s is really what brought it back. So, and I
Yeah.
think Quiet Place could have been that start, honestly, leading into the
Yeah.
2020s.
It was definitely, I would argue it was probably one of the 3 or 5 that had the biggest impact on the genre of the 2010s, for sure.
Because that one had a lot of word of mouth behind it, from what I remember.
Oh, dude,
Uh,
yeah.
and I mean, case in point, my wife loves that movie. Obviously, she loves The Office. She loves John Krasinski. But like, she's never been one for horror movies, and that was like opened like a whole new world for her as
Yeah.
far as like what we could watch together once we started dating and stuff.
Hmm.
So I do appreciate that movie so much because of that, but also how great it is, like you described. I yeah,
Yeah, and your
that's
case in point's only helping me with the audience.
that's the thing, bro. We help each other and let people decide.
That's right. That's right. I'm sure I'll help
Because you
you
were
out
like,
too in the
and your
future.
pick is backed by science.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. This
No,
reminds
that
me of when we did the 200th episode on backseat directing, and you and I had a debate about Lord of the Rings versus Star Wars, and like what's objectively better, and we had like the most polite debate ever.
I think Andrew was like, stop being friends.
He's like, stop like helping their point.
It's so true. That's why this whole 25-cent new era even exists, honestly.
Hmm.
No,
Dude, yeah,
that
100%.
solid second pick, man. I think that is the best one out of those movies for me. I think each one
Yeah.
gets slightly worse, not saying much. But I do think the first one's the best.
I agree. I think the first one is the best. I think the second one is, to be honest, it's hard for me to choose, but I always have to say the first one just because of how hard that one hit.
Yeah.
The second one hit just as hard. It's just not the first one. And that's
Yeah.
really the only reason I go with the first. To me, they're equal. And Day One, A Quiet Place Day One, is not that far behind, in my opinion. It's the weakest of the three, but it's not as far behind as everybody thinks. I think
Okay.
people nitpick it a little too much.
I think yeah.
But
I need to give it another shot. I watched it when I was a little bit tired and it was kind of late. And for me, I don't know. I guess I was expecting something that it didn't deliver. So now knowing what it is, I think I would enjoy it more. I don't think it was
yeah,
bad. I just think it was good on my first viewing. I just like the second one a lot because of Cillian Murphy, and it's literally star power at this point for that movie. But first one, I think, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best. And I
yeah.
I guess someone could make an argument for the other two, but I don't think I would ever think they're right. You know?
Yeah, I don't think anybody would ever argue Day One is the best. I could
Mhm.
see maybe somebody arguing the second one, and I'd be willing to hear them out. But
Yeah.
I think the vast majority of people would stand by the first.
Yeah.
So have to go with that one for me. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's my second pick. Which
All right.
we're at your
Number
which are
two.
we at your second?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna go with keeping it with the same first letter like you did. I know it was maybe not intentional, but this works well for me. This one is I don't think going to be on your list, or would have been on your list at all. But I think it would be on a cultish section of people, and I think that'll get me a slight vote. That is the original.
It starts with an S?
Saw. Yes.
Dude, that is on my list. That's on
It
my
is?
list of 10 that I'm picking from. Yeah. Yeah.
I got one.
I actually have it at number 9.
Okay,
Out of
so
what
it
I
wasn't
think.
like
I have them ranked in an order. But
Yeah.
like it was like a strong backup for me in case you picked with some of mine.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
think that is the single greatest plot twist I've ever seen.
dude, that plot twist is insane.
Yeah. And it's honestly very simple. Like it was
Hmm.
there the whole time right in front of our faces and I just did not see it. And you're one that's very good at seeing plot twists from what I know about you and some other movies that you've seen. Did you know this one was did you see this one coming at all when you first saw it?
Absolutely not. I watched it when I watched it for the first time. Every time I thought I had figured it out, it was like the script just pulled the rug right out from underneath of me and made me rethink and reconsider everything that I already thought I understood. And
Yep.
so by the time the plot twist actually happened, my jaw was on the ground for like 5 minutes and I was catching bees. Like, dude, it was that was just one of like the biggest reactions I've ever had, like physical reactions that I've had to like a plot twist. It was so crazy.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I'm not that big on body horror. Saw is that, but something about that movie felt like a murder mystery on crack.
Yes. That
And
one's the most classy
in
out
the
of them.
horror genre.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't seen any other Saw movies. I generally don't like to watch horror sequels because I don't always think they're nearly as good. A Quiet Place is, that's an exception.
Yeah.
But Saw, I've never continued. I've only seen the first one, but that plot twist is, I mean, it's revolutionary. There's nothing like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody could see it coming, to be honest.
No, I mean unless you saw a scene or something. Like if you've seen nothing and you've heard nothing, I really doubt you would ever see that coming because of the fact that it's right in front of your face the entire time. I mean, you spend so much time in that room, and like you said, it's got a lot of like escape room vibes, which is just because they're trying to get out, and
Yeah.
you're so focused on like trying to figure out what's going on, but then you see something detrimental, like got to saw off his freaking ankle or whatever, and you're so focused on that all of a sudden, so you forget about thinking about what's going on. You get thrown back in, you're like, oh wait, maybe it's that guy, and then it's like, oh, I didn't know anything this entire time. James Wan, absolutely, he's an incredible mind in general, but in the horror genre specifically, I think that's where he
Yeah.
shines the most.
I would
And
argue he's the most influential 21st century horror director.
he's got a lot, dude. I mean, we'll probably name more by him for sure
Yeah,
on this
probably.
episode. But it's like so many different like properties that he's created and then let other people take on the mantle. And sometimes it flops, sometimes they're good, but he's always got that original. And if he ever comes back to whatever franchise, it's most likely going to be a banger. And
Yeah.
he's one of those directors like Nolan and Villeneuve and stuff, where no matter what the project is that's announced, if they're attached to it in any way, I'm excited for it, especially
Yeah, I'm
directing.
there.
Yeah. But the music too, man. The music, I mean,
Yes, that's a great score.
I think I mentioned that on one of our other episodes we did together. I don't remember which one it was, but when the theme hits at the end, right after right when he starts. I mean, if you're listening to this, you've probably seen the movie by now, but whatever. Right when he starts getting up at the end, and that theme starts playing, it's like dun 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 dun. Oh man, dude, you just feel
Yeah.
like your mind was literally blown in slow motion. You're remembering everything that happened, and I love the recaps it gives, and like the editing, the shutter speeds just messed with. It's genius, man. It's not even like it doesn't even need to be high quality production because it was 2004, and it's probably the least best produced, I would say, out of the four that have been mentioned. But at the same time, it doesn't matter because it is a body horror, because it's got that plot twist, because the music is. Oh man,
I mean,
dude.
and it did spawn a franchise that's still continuing to this day. Like, what are we, 10,
Yeah.
11 films deep into the Saw franchise?
Yeah, 11 comes
It's
out this
crazy.
next year, and
And it's
honestly,
all been in the 21st century. There have been that
yeah,
many, like, Freddy Krueger or Jason films in over multiple decades. Like we're talking four decades, and this is we're 21 years into the Saw franchise, and that if we're talking 21 movies, or sorry, 11 movies in 21, 22 years. It's like one Saw movie every other year on average.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So,
and I think, I mean, I've watched all of them. I watched Saw 1 through 7, not to get too deep, but I watched Saw 1 through 7 a lot when I was supposed to be doing online school. That explains why I love horror so much. But, I mean, Saw 1 was always the GOAT. There are some, between 2 and 7, there are some pretty good ones. There are some ones that are just straight up just body horror, just no story.
Sure.
But
running out of ideas.
What I will say is Jigsaw was a great return. That plot twist is probably my third favorite in the Saw franchise, because every single one has a plot twist and they're all very good. It's just none can live up to the first. But Jigsaw's close. The spinoff with Chris Rock called Spiral, that was pretty good. Just it felt more like a modern, so that looks the best, I think. But then I saw Saw 10 recently, like literally probably a month ago.
Saw X.
Saw X. That one, that's dude. Saw 10 right there, man. Like it's a direct sequel after Saw 1. It takes place between Saw 1 and 2.
So I could jump straight into that one, right?
You could watch Saw into Saw 10 and not watch anything else, and you'd be completely fine.
Okay, I might do that.
I would recommend. That's the second best for me, and I've only seen it once. I'm definitely going to watch it again.
That's what I've been hearing. I just I haven't heard it from anybody that I know personally, and so I just I'll check it out.
Me and John I love the Saw franchise more than him, but he actually knows a lot about it too, and he agrees Saw 10 is the second best.
Okay,
but there are some gems. But yeah, Saw 10, and that just goes to show, like you said, it's been so many years and they still have been producing. I mean, that one's the best banger they have, but like 2004 and now that one came out in 23, I want to say, so almost 20 years. That's a legacy sequel. That's like, and it's not even a legacy sequel, but I'd still consider it that. But it takes everything that you know and love about the franchise, elevates the quality of it all, but still maintains that feel that James Wan had, and it has a plot twist that's pretty dang good, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So, try not to talk about these a lot, but I love horror movies, and I know.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
No, we're making pretty good time, I think. Yeah, so we've got a lot of variety so far.
Yep.
That was the first true body horror film that we've listed.
Yep.
And that was your second pick, right?
Correct. Yeah.
All right. So moving on to my number 3. I am a big fan of vampire movies. I acknowledge that there are a lot of bad vampire movies. And I think especially in the 2010s, they got a bad rap because of the Twilight films. Those are entertaining bad movies in their own right. They're clearly not horror.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they did kind of dampen the reputation of the vampire horror subgenre.
Mm-hmm.
But I think within the last 2 years, we've gotten some really good ones. And I'm going to go with Nosferatu.
Ooh, yeah, dude. I still have not seen that. I thought you were going
you
somewhere
have
else with
to
that.
watch. Yeah. That's still on the table for now.
Yeah.
But
Man, so it was, that must have been that good then. Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah. Nosferatu, all 3 of the movies that I've listed so far are my top 10 horror movies of all time.
Okay.
Nosferatu, I love Robert Eggers as a director. If you ask me which horror director is the best firing on all cylinders right now, it's Robert Eggers, in my opinion. But I like the stuff he does. I like the dark, gothic, fantasy, folklore horror that he goes for. And Nosferatu, this is the best way I can explain it, why it appeals to me, and I think why it appealed to the amount of people that it did, because I think they had the same experience that I had with it. Nosferatu is the type of horror film that on paper has my name written all over it. It's got the horror aesthetic that I love, that I'm always looking for. Obviously, and for the films where that aesthetic makes sense.
Yeah.
It's got the type of story, the acting, the music, just the cinematography. Every aspect of it is like, if I were a film director, that's the type of horror I'd want to do. Is Nosferatu. And the way I'm talking sounds like I'm doing like a one for them, one for me kind of thing, but people loved Nosferatu. It was up for some Oscars, some of like the more technical categories, but I think it should have been up for a lot more than that. It is just, horror aside, it is a technical masterpiece. It is beautiful to look at. Every shot could be a painting on a wall. The music is haunting. I think Lily Rose Depp, Bill Skarsgård, Nicholas Hoult, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Willem Dafoe, they are all incredible. They are all giving their performances their A game. But just from a horror perspective, it's so creepy. It's more of a classic tale because obviously Nosferatu, Dracula, has been around for a long time. This is a version of this is a story we've seen iteration after iteration over the last century, and the story itself goes beyond cinema. But the fact that it's still something that people are revisiting to this day, and Robert Eggers made it feel fresh, made it feel new, but also lived in, is an impressive feat, and it's on its own terms, or on its own term. But the horror itself, in terms of the character design, the shots, just how I don't know, it could feel otherworldly at times. Even though it still feels like it's a era of the past, but something about it just doesn't feel natural. It feels creepy. It's kind of surreal and dreamy. There's moments where it's like, there's a shot or a scene in particular of Nicholas Hoult where he's going up to the manor or the mansion, whatever you want to call it, that Count Orlok lives in. And there's a shot where a carriage and horses are coming up to him. And it feels like a dream. But that is a part of the story. Just the way it's shot, it feels like he himself in the scene is like, am I having a nightmare or am I not? Is this real? Okay, and that's something that Robert Eggers brought to it, was like a very nightmarish, a gothic nightmarish feel to it. I mean, just everything is just... It's freaky. From the opening scene is terrifying. The way it ends is just like, it gets under your skin. Thematically too, like it's just creepy. It's a weird, wacky story, but I'm just there for it. So yeah Nosferatu is that is my type of horror that I love. So had to be on here for me.
I gotta check that out for sure. That's the first one that's been mentioned that one of us hasn't seen, honestly, which is pretty good so far. I wish I had seen it, because I'm sure I'm 99% sure that I'm gonna love it. Like it's one of those movies, because I already love both of Eggers' films that I've seen. I just haven't seen Nosferatu or the one before that, blanking.
The Northman.
Yeah, which I feel like I'm gonna love that too, from what I've heard.
I think I have to watch Nosferatu again, and honestly Northman again. As of now, I think I might say the Northman is my favorite.
Okay, yeah.
I love both. I like all of his movies a lot. Two of his other movies are still on the table. Yeah, because Northman is definitely not horror, but I don't know. I do. Northman or Nosferatu is one of those two, or one of them is my favorite. I gotta watch them again. Now I just kind of want to binge his movies.
I do too. I definitely have to do it by myself though. Those are my wife would not love those.
Yeah,
especially
his movies are grotesque.
Yeah,
they get more and more that way as they go along. But probably the Northman is one of the most violent movies I've ever seen.
Okay, that makes me even more excited, honestly.
Dude, The
No, I
Northman
mean,
is that's an awesome movie.
man. So you got the diversity on these lists. I like. Uh, I mean, right now
Yeah,
you're a
like we
psychological.
keep going different subgenres.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I could do with my third pick now. I don't know if I want to do it for my third pick because I feel like this type of horror film that I want to leave that for 4 and 5 because I don't think you're gonna have either of those two films on your list, especially based off of your horror intro that you just gave at the beginning of the episode.
Okay.
So I think for this one, I'm gonna try and directly challenge your Nosferatu pick by
Oh, are you
listing.
doing what I think you're doing?
I don't know if you know what I'm gonna do, but I'm going Eggers, and by that I'm going with a movie I've only seen once, and I do need to watch it again. But I'm saying that because it's been so long since I've seen this that I can't really tell you exactly what happened. I just remember I was floored, and that is The Witch,
Oh, okay.
2016 or
Okay.
15. I see 15 and 16 kind of listed everywhere, but that's his first one.
I think I think it technically is 2016 when it got a
Okay,
wide release.
okay,
I think it came out at a festival or a limited release in 15.
okay. So 2016, but yeah, dude, that one.
I thought you were going The Lighthouse for a second. That's why I reacted the way I did.
No, yeah, The Lighthouse is really good, but that one is. I could see that being at the bottom of my Eggers list, not because it's bad. It's just because it's just like it's so out there that it's hard to like really compare to The Witch for me as being the only two I've seen from him. And I can feel like The
Yeah.
Northman, I could probably follow that story and Nosferatu better than I could The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse is
Yeah.
like, I could imagine that's a great movie if you were like on something. Like you'd probably be tripping like crazy. But
Yeah. Yeah.
The Witch, from what I remember, man, it was just like that was like the first time I saw Anya in a movie and loved her. Uh, just basically the exact same stuff you were kind of talking about with Nosferatu, where like it felt otherworldly, uh, and just a different. That was like the first time I experienced horror in a different way, where it was like not that I was scared. I was just so like it felt so unsettling to see what I was
Yeah.
seeing, and like
Yeah.
I remember the shot of the goat, and it's like I think it's the poster too. There was a shot of a goat that just lingered for a little bit longer than I wanted it to, and
Yeah.
nothing happened. It was just like I kind of needed something freaky to happen right there to not be scared, but the lack of typical horror stuff in that movie is what makes it even more scary for me. And
Hmm.
I really need to watch it again because I think there's a lot of like great stuff in that movie. I just can't remember everything because it's been so long. But I
Yeah.
needed to have it on this list, especially because you just picked an Eggers film.
That one's relatively fresh in my mind because I watched it leading up to Nosferatu, which came out last Christmas.
Mhm.
And because that was at the time the one that it was the least fresh in my mind of Robert Eggers' filmography.
Mhm.
That one's interesting. I would put it at the bottom of my list for his films, not because it's bad. I think it's a
Yeah.
great movie. It's just the one that I guess it didn't sit with me or resonate with me as much as the others do because I think I get more out of those thematically. But that said, The Witch is still a very thematically rich horror movie because it leans really heavily into it's kind of like a culty
Yeah.
religious horror folklore story
Mhm.
where it has this allegory with what you're talking about with the goat. You know, there's a
Mhm.
lot there, and that shot in particular where it lingers on it, and you hear that voice, and you're like, "This is where we're going."
Yeah. No,
Okay,
which I want to say, let me
when
look
you
really quick. You can, yeah, okay, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's Ralph Ineson. His
yes, he's
his
Galactus now,
voice, yeah. When I found that out, because
dude. He's got a great voice.
we were we just started season 3 of an Apple show called Foundation, and he's in the
Yeah,
first episode, and I was like, oh shoot, he's in this, and then I was like, Oh, that's what happens. But like his voice, he just has that commanding presence, kind of like
He does.
the guy who played voiced Darkseid in Snyder Cut. I can't remember his name.
Can't remember his name either, but I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, Kieran Hines, Kieran Hines, whatever. But like his Ralph Ineson's voice is just, oh man, that gets in your soul.
It does. It's like it's one of those deep voices that's it's so low. It doesn't sound natural, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Josh Brolin is another one of those guys. It's not quite as low. I mean, he's got a deep voice,
yeah,
but it's he's got another one of those voices where it hits hard. You're like, whoa, it's very commanding.
and that's crazy listening to you say that because you have the deepest voice out of the friend group, out of the
Yeah, I guess I
podcast
do.
friend group. And I before I met you, I
guess
had
I
the
do.
deepest voice. I mean, I could challenge you, but I know you're gonna win. No, but The Witch on it, like it is. It's really is a really good movie. It's yeah, like the first review that pops up on Q is the first line is this one's hard to rate because I can't really remember, but I know it's that good type of thing, and that's exactly how I feel. Which that person could be dumb, but I promise I'm smart. But like, I don't know, it just left me with that weird vibe, which I think Eggers does with each one of his movies. Testament to his power as a director, and
Yeah.
but yeah, dude, yeah,
The shot in that film that's sat with me the most is the final shot. That it's so creepy.
Was
Just
it
the
the
imagery
circle?
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's anything where there's people in a circle in a horror film. That's one of the freakiest things you could do. And he did it in probably the worst way imaginable.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
freaky.
I'm liking the way these lists are shaping up. I think you might have the better third pick, but for the first two, I honestly don't know.
Yeah,
I
dude,
think it's
both
been a
I
pretty
mean,
good draft.
I think we both got some great picks, and I think we're definitely both going to get some votes here. Like, there's not one outweighing the other right now, I think.
Mhm.
But these next two, I guess, could make or break.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be
Um,
tough. All right, number
yeah.
4 for you.
All right.
Let's go.
All right, so I've got some psychological satire. I've got, post-apocalyptic alien. I've got gothic vampire. And now I'm going to go into this is the one time I'm going to go in the supernatural religious territory with horror films. And I talked about it earlier. It's got some nostalgia for me. That is The Conjuring.
Okay. Yep.
So my
Good pick.
James Wan pick. We both got Robert Eggers' pick. We both got James Wan next. I guess what are we looking for?
man.
Ari Aster and Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm going
You
to
said
Conjuring
1, right?
Yes, the first one.
Yeah.
That's definitely the best one. I think I like all three. I think they progressively get worse. Not that any of them are bad, but the first one is by far the best. I think somebody could make a strong case for the second one if they wanted to, but in my eyes, the first. I just remember being 13 years old who had absolutely zero experience with horror movies at all, and I just saw the trailer of The Conjuring. Just those hands clapping freaked me out so much for about a month. And then I finally watched it 3 years later, and I was absolutely terrified, and it was just like, like I said earlier, that movie, I was so scared, I watched it, and then no movie has bothered me, or I should say scared me that much ever since. I have been disturbed by movies, but I haven't been scared. And The Conjuring genuinely scared me. There's so many effective jump scares. I think we live in an era where horror films they're abundant, I'd say. We get them all the time. You can go to the theater. There's always going to be one playing. They're always dropping on streaming. There is now a horror streaming service out there, Shudder. They're all
I
over
almost
the
got
place.
that one day because there are some stuff I want to watch on there.
Yeah. And it's just like you can get a jump scare, and oftentimes they're going to be pretty cheap. They're going to be generic. They're going to be predictable, expected. Everything in The Conjuring is crafted with care. It's crafted intentionally. Visually, everything is timed to a T. And even like right when you think it's going to hit, it doesn't. It catches you off guard. It does it right at a different part, either maybe a little bit before or a little bit after. You know, it like it walks the line of like it could be a cheap jump scare, but it doesn't, and it like tiptoes around it, and that's what makes it effective. The one with the creature on top of the wardrobe gets me the most.
Did not want you to bring that up.
The hands clapping, there's the one where is it the mom or somebody is out doing the laundry with like the clothes line outside, and there's that one. Did I say the little boy? I can't remember. There's the little boy scene. That one freaks me out. There's the one like with the attic. I don't know. There's so many, but they're all so memorable. Yeah. Like there's so many horror movies. You're like, oh, there was that jump scare. But The Conjuring has so many that stick in your mind. They linger, and it's a 12-year-old movie at this point, and people still remember those jump scares just like they saw it in the theater in 2013. Yeah. I think I don't know. It's hard to say whether I think The Conjuring or Saw is James Wan's horror masterpiece. Not that anything outside of horror for him is a masterpiece. Aquaman and Furious 7 are good for what they are, but they're not masterpieces. But I don't know. It's tough to say. I lean a little bit more towards The Conjuring just because I think I think as a movie overall, it's a little bit more entertaining than Saw, and I think things pay off just a little bit better thematically. I think Saw is a better puzzle than it is The Conjuring. I just think that, I don't know. Again, it's a lot of personal preference here, and it's obviously why it was higher up on my list here than Saw. But I can make the case for either one. Depends on the day.
I think The Conjuring is the better horror movie, but Saw is the better mystery.
I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's the better horror movie. Yeah.
And way better produced too. I mean, like I said, Saw, it's not the greatest, but that kind of also makes it better for what it is. But The Conjuring is just, it's on a different level. It's hard to like not agree with everything you're saying because I love The Conjuring, even though I'm scared of everything you said too. I know we're talking about The Conjuring 1, but like it is probably his best quality movie. But it's also hard because like a lot of his movies are quality, you know? Like I think it's just, again, because it's the first one. And because it's based on like, I mean, like it's loosely or like based on true events, which just makes it that much more freaky.
Yes, that makes it so much worse.
Yeah, like The Exorcist. That's one of the reasons why I never want to watch a movie again, because like I know, you know, like whatever biblically, like that has happened and that can still happen. It just terrifies me. That's a genre of horror where like I don't really want to step into anymore. Like I just feel like that's just too much for me, especially where I'm at in life. But The Conjuring is something where I still can watch it knowing that it is based on true events, but it's not the same as The Exorcist, but it's still really scary. And that wardrobe one is one that's definitely talked about. I've seen everyone say that's
the worst one in that movie.
Yeah.
That's the one that got me the most. That freaked me out so much. I was with a big group of friends. Yeah, you don't. That one's so well timed. I was with a bunch of friends in high school when I watched that movie, and we were all in our friend's basement. We're all just like on the floor, and dude, I pulled that blanket up over my head. I was like, I am done. I am out of here. But I had to finish the movie. I was so invested.
I'm done, bro. Leave me alone.
I was like, I can't do this anymore, but I got to keep watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my that's gonna be my supernatural pick.
Okay.
I'm trying to make sure that each one that I'm doing is a reflection of a different horror subgenre because there are so many, and I don't want to be redundant.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to do
But
something similar
yeah,
too. It's just it's getting hard now with only 2 entries left. For my number 4, I'm gonna go with probably people will probably say it's a basic pick, but it is one of my personal favorites. I'm going with Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead.
I haven't seen it.
Yes. I love to have one on every episode. Dude, okay, so I'll keep it brief. I mean, it's not like there's spoilers to be really spoiled. It's a zombie movie, and it's a remake of George Romero's classic, which is also great. I think I like Zack Snyder's quite a bit more, not just because it's Zack Snyder. Like I'm a Snyder fan, not a Snyder cultist. Uh, I don't know. I've seen it so many times, and like I'm literally watching the trailer right now. I'm hooked. But it takes place in a mall, and it's just it's what every zombie movie like wants to be, but can never really be because it already exists, you know? And on top of that, this
Yeah,
is already a remake of a classic. So it's got Snyder style all over it, but it's like OG Snyder, so it's not, it's not like the new age slow-mo Snyder or like let me make it so visually interesting that the story is a little bit lackluster, which I can defend for sure, but Dawn of the Dead being a zombie movie and it just kind of gets that pass where it's like as long as the kills are good and the action's good and I care about these characters, thumbs up for me. And that's how I feel, but I do love it more than most, but like I do genuinely think it is that good of a zombie movie. I think it's the best zombie movie that I've ever seen. There's another one that I won't mention, not that it's going to be picked because you only have one pick left, but I'll say it in an honorable. There are some good zombie movies, but I think this is the best. And I would recommend you watching it. It's only 100 minutes, so it's a pretty easy watch. Um, but I don't know. Like I don't want to spoil anything that happens, but there are some pretty interesting stuff that I've never really seen a zombie thing do because that was 2004. So obviously after that, there's been shows like The Walking Dead, which I love, and movies and stuff that have taken bits and pieces from it. But I think Dawn of the Dead is the classic that will stand the test of time for me and for a lot of people. And it's a zombie movie, so that fits in making my fourth pick different. But that is my second pick from 2004, so, maybe I am being a little bit stale here.
I mean, I don't think the year has anything to do with it. I think it just means it was a good year for horror.
Yeah. I didn't think...
But I can't say that for sure
thought you
because I
would've
haven't
seen
seen Dawn of the Dead. No, I haven't. Because, like you said, I'm not a Snyder cultist by any means. I just like what he did with DC. It's not like, I'm not saying it's the definitive take for DC. I just like what he did. I don't really like many of his movies outside of DC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not huge on 300. I am not huge
I'm not either.
on... I can't remember what else I've seen of his, but like... I'm just for some reason drawing a blank, but whatever I've seen outside of DC, I don't love it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I get that. Yeah,
that's
I think
neither here nor there.
it's got. James Gunn helped write that movie too, which tells you what you need to know.
Okay.
And Ving Rhames is in it. He's freaking awesome. That's really the main big name. I mean, Ty Burrell and Michael Kelly, if you see their faces, you'll know who they are, but the names you won't recognize. But it's just, you need to watch it, because I think you can see, like, when you watch that, it's someone, like I said earlier, but it's someone remaking a classic years later, but that remake has influenced a lot of other content, not just zombie stuff, and no one wants to admit it because it's Zack Snyder and James Gunn, both people who can be great but are hated for some stupid reason. I don't know. Both made great Superman films that people are hating on.
All right,
to the final pick.
Dude, okay, honestly, it wasn't hard for me to pick these top four because I knew these were the four that I wanted. it was the order that was tricky.
Yeah.
I could go with like, there's a few that I could go with here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yeah,
trying to
this
go with
is
something
yeah.
that's like giving me enough time apart from like its original release where there's no recency bias. It clearly has a fan base.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I like it a lot. It wouldn't be like necessarily top 5 for me. Like we're not doing a top 5 list here.
Mm-hmm.
But it also didn't make a list for a previous episode. All of these other 4 made a list. American Psycho made my 2000 list. A Quiet Place made 2018 list. Nosferatu was in there for 2024. And The Conjuring. Actually, no, The Conjuring was not in there for 2013. What am I talking about?
Was it honorable?
It was an honorable mention for
Yeah.
2013. So this was another honorable mention, and that was for 2019, and that was Midsommar or Midsommar, however you choose to say it.
I have not seen that one yet either.
You haven't seen that, dude? Okay, have you
No.
seen any of Ari Aster's films?
Name some.
Hereditary,
Yes,
Midsommar,
I've seen Hereditary.
Beau is Afraid, and now Eddington.
I'm
Eddington's in
I'm
theaters.
wanting to see Eddington.
I
That looks
think I might see it this week.
yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah.
I never saw Bo's Afraid. I had it on my queue, and then I heard it was kind of like just like what's happening, you know. So I didn't see that. I've wanted to see Midsommar. I just never got around to it. Hereditary, I have seen, and that's the one I was referencing when I was talking about The Witch with that
Oh,
similar
okay.
ending.
Yes.
It left
Yeah.
me so like, ugh. But I can't imagine
I
Midsommar.
I can't deal with Hereditary. It's a well-made film. I understand that a lot of people would consider it to be his best. I personally can't deal with it. I don't know why. I can't articulate it. It just really disturbed me in a way no other movie has. It didn't scare me like The Conjuring, but it got under my skin in a way where I was like, I feel like I've peeked into something that I shouldn't have. You know what I
Yes,
mean? I
yes.
feel like I was like, I don't need any part of this.
Yeah,
Please wipe
no.
this from my memory. And I don't have that experience with Midsummer, but I was worried I would, but I saw it nonetheless. And it did disturb me. It did get under my skin, but in a way that was entertaining, in a way that was like, it's also very cinematic. Like, it's such an ironic horror movie. It's like, you're going to this place it's so colorful, it's vibrant, it's sunny. The whole movie is essentially in daylight. And that's not typical for a horror movie. But
Yeah.
something about it is almost like Uncanny Valley in a way, where it just doesn't feel right. Everything looks nice, everything looks happy, but it also deep down looks messed up.
Yeah.
And it's like a mask for what the darkness is below the surface. I won't go into all the spoilers because you haven't seen it, but there's a moment in the movie that happens, I'd say about an hour and 15, and it's a long horror movie. Like I think it's like 2 hours 45 minutes or something like that. It's
Wow.
long. Yeah. Yeah, and there's a moment that happens, like right around the halfway mark, where I was like, "Oh my god!" And it just like turns into a complete roller coaster after that, and you were just like, it's not a fast-paced movie, but everything that happens after that is so tension-filled. It's so disturbing. It's so offbeat. It's crazy. And I will also say there's the opening sequence that is like, oh my god, what have I walked into?
Yeah.
And it carries all the way through Florence Pugh's character arc. By the time you get to the end and you see the final shot, you're like, oh my god. Like, she's gone through so much. You don't want her to go where she does, but it's like the character arc itself, for the sake of the story, for the sake, or for just because of the fact it's a horror movie, is satisfying for the sake of the story. And it's like, you don't want the direction her character goes in to happen because you care about her. Like, you've been through so much. Don't do this.
Yeah.
and then you see her get like sucked into all this, and you're like, oh my god, this is just that. I mean, it sounds like I'm spoiling it, but like you still don't know what happens. Like it's just like it's unbelievable. Not exactly. It's just like there's no words to describe like what she goes through. It's unfathomable. It's just berserk.
Yeah.
And you get to the end, and then you're also like, you have the whole time you feel sorry for her. You want her to like, to escape. Eventually you become a bit afraid of her. But her performance is incredible. Anytime that involves her crying she's great. She's you feel every emotion she experiences. She is the true like emotional anchor of the film, but it obviously it goes in directions where you're like, nope, no, thank you.
Yeah,
no, thank you. I've actually got the collector's edition right there from A24.
That's the like the weights.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, dude, it's super cool. It's got some really, really messed up artwork in it, which I didn't know existed until I opened it. I was like, why bought this?
Midsommar I've been adding to this right now what I call August trip films to watch. I'm going to be doing that each month. I go back to Florida, have like a list of stuff I want to like try and get to. Midsommar is on the list for August. Fingers crossed I get to go back sometime.
Yeah.
Because it's one that I've been needing to watch for sure. And Nosferatu is on the list as well. So two of the ones you mentioned.
Nice.
Wow. Voice crack.
But yeah. No, you're good.
Was that 19?
Yeah, it was 2019.
Man, so he did back to back with Hereditary and this one.
Yeah, and then he took 4 years to do Beau is Afraid, 2 years for Eddington. Curious to see what he does next, because like Beau is Afraid, I wouldn't necessarily say is a horror movie. It's kind of I'd say more of a psychological thriller, surrealist psychological thriller. And then Eddington, I haven't seen yet. Can't say. I hear different things, but definitely not horror. So I'm curious to see where he goes next.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, Midsommar. That's my number 5. What's your final pick?
This one is tough because now I have 44 more titles to go through. I have what I'm going to use to narrow it down is the type of horror film as we've been doing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be leaving a lot on the table, but it's fine because we can talk about a little bit in honorable mentions. I feel the need to either go slasher or found footage, because I don't think either of those have been.
American Psycho could be classified as a slasher, but it's got so much other like subgenre classifications as well, where like it could slide. We don't have found footage.
That's the thing, dude, because I feel like found footage would be the clear thing, but if I pick it, no one's going to know the film that I would pick besides you, because I've talked about it before on your podcast. Okay. I feel like I got to go slasher because this slasher is a heavy hitter. I think it's the best in the franchise. Fans of this franchise will want to slay me for this most likely, but I have every point ready to go. Fighting words ready.
So is this like a one for you kind of thing?
It is a one for me because of the slasher, but this is definitely also a fan pick.
Okay.
I'm going, but it's also fine too because it's 21st century, so that leaves the original out of the question. So yeah, I'm going this one. I'm going Halloween 2018.
Okay, people like that one. I didn't see it. I've only, like I said, I've only seen the original for that franchise.
That's another one where, like Saw 10. That's another one where I would recommend you could watch that one because it's a direct sequel from the original. I'm realizing now I kind of like that in the horror genre because it always works for some reason. Halloween 2018 is my favorite film of that franchise. I think it is the best. I think it's better than the original. Uh, it's just when you think about Halloween, or when I think about Halloween, sorry, that is the movie I think of. It takes everything the original did, but just makes it better, in my opinion. And I know that's gonna sound hurtful to a lot of Halloween fans, but it's just true. I mean, you look at you've seen the original, right?
Yeah.
It's very methodical. It's slow. It's a slow burn, which I do like slow burns, and it works for 1978.
It's a
But
classic. Yeah.
it's a classic. Like, I'm not taking anything away from it. I just genuinely think 2018 is just takes everything it does and just does it better, especially in the modern era. It, yeah, you could view it as it's the same movie just with a new look, and to some extent it is. But at that in that same vein, I think it's like a 4K remaster, but done so much better than I could have ever imagined a Halloween film could be. And the sequels after it are not good, so do not do not watch those. It's literally Halloween and Halloween 2018 for me. I like H2O. I like the original Halloween 2. I think it's good, but I think 2018 is the best. Michael Myers is vicious in that movie. It's got the most fun and the coolest kills, I think. I mean, there's just like when he really gets into it. I don't want to spoil it, but when he starts his killing spree, there's just like a one take just following him for like a solid like 3 to 4 to 5 minutes, and it's just incredible, man. Like the camera work in that movie is genius, and what's even better is the directors. I know it's David Gordon Green, and someone else. There was like co-directing. They come from a comedy background, just like Jordan Peele, just like a lot of other recent horror directors and writers, and that just helps. I mean, like they know how to blend dramatic horror sequences with comedic relief. And there's a few characters in this movie that are genuinely funny. The jokes land for me on rewatches as well. So I don't know. I think it's one of those refreshes slash legacy sequels like Saw 10 that just elevate the franchise, and this one's even more expansive than Saw as far as the years that it's gone on. But I do think this is a classic. It will be a classic in the future. I mean, it's only 7 years old. That's crazy. It's already 7 years old. But and the
Yeah.
music, it's got my favorite Halloween track, I guess you would say. It's not the main theme. It's called Halloween Triumphant. It's 7 minutes plus. Listen to that before you watch the movie. Listen to that if you can, right after this episode, because it's. I mean, you don't have to, but like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's my favorite track from that franchise, and I love the original Halloween theme, but it's John Carpenter and his son together, which is so cool to even have that happen. And
Yeah, that is cool.
it's got so much bass, so much electric guitar, and it's just you listen to that track with your eyes closed, you are transcended into that world, but you're transcended into Michael Myers' mind, and there's a lot to really think about. I know I'm getting really weird with it, but like there is a lot to think about when you listen to that track. It's called Halloween Triumphant, and it's in the same vein as like when you said American Psycho, you're not rooting for him, but you like him in a sense, but you don't like him. Same thing with Michael Myers in this movie and with that track. It's like you feel so empowered, like you could. I don't know. It sounds dark, but like you could almost see where that switch is in your mind, where it's like if something were to happen, or like I was given that little thing, I could see how someone could be pushed over the edge into just nothingness and just insanity. And that track just elevates the entire movie for me. I could go on, but 2018, and I'm feeling that, feeling that a little bit. And it's also late. I know it's later for you, but I genuinely do love this movie. I actually like this movie more than some of the other ones I've picked, obviously, but the order just made sense as far as like options. But dude, I know you haven't seen it, so I don't want to talk too much more. I think out of the ones that I've listed, 2018 and Dawn of the Dead and Saw are the most rewatchable for me, but I honestly think 2018 might be the most rewatchable because of just how fun and how inventive but also quick and like elaborate the filmmaking is behind the scenes of that movie, but also still caring about the original's lore but expanding upon it in a way that the modern era can handle, but also people like me who care about not breaking what was created originally. It's just like a perfect blend of modern era horror. Wow, that was a modern era horror while keeping that classic vibe. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
don't know where I was going with that, but that's my fifth pick.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's interesting because uh, we've each seen three in each
That's
other's
true.
lists and not seen two.
Yeah.
Let's
So we got some
since
homework.
yeah, we've gone pretty long so far, but let's
Yeah.
quickly run through our top five, and then we can just like quickly talk about honorable mentions once both of us have hit our top fives again, just to
Okay.
quickly recap like horror subgenre or which movie the subgenre it belongs to, and then just wrap it up and keep going.
So my number one was Sinister. That is obviously all these are horror, but I mean that's probably the subgenre of thriller. No,
Or supernatural.
supernatural. Yeah, that's my supernatural pick.
Yeah,
My number two is Saw, body horror subgenre. Number three is The Witch. I feel like that's also a little
like
bit of
folk
supernatural,
horror.
but folk. Folk's better
Yeah,
description. Four, Dawn of the Dead. I know
zombie.
people don't really consider it, but I consider zombie a genre, subgenre. And then five,
I think it
slasher.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Five, slasher, Halloween 2018, baby.
All right. And I've got American Psycho, psychological, satirical horror
Mm,
movie. My second pick, alien sci-fi horror,
yeah.
A Quiet Place. My number three, vampire gothic horror, Nosferatu.
Mm,
Supernatural horror pick is The Conjuring, and my number five, my folk horror pick is Midsummer or Midsommar, however you choose to pronounce it.
yeah.
I've said it both ways. But yeah, those are my five. I've got some honorable mentions. I would have loved to have had this in my list, which is Us. I think that's my favorite Jordan Peele horror movie. I
Mm,
just know that's not one that people would generally say is their favorite. I think people would say Get Out, and so I didn't think that it'd be smart for me to put in my list, but it's right there. It's my number six pick.
yeah.
Sinners this year. It's one of the best movies to come out this year so far, and it's a fantastic like Southern Gothic vampire film.
Mm,
Long Legs came out last year, made my list for 2024.
yeah.
It's like if Seven, Zodiac, and The Silence of the Lambs had a foursome with The Conjuring. It's fantastic. The Lighthouse is another one
Yeah.
of my picks that I thought about. That's a great another great Robert Eggers horror movie. Yeah, I would say those are my honorable mentions. I could go on and on, to be honest,
Yeah.
but I'll uh, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there.
Yeah. What'd you say, four or five? Five?
I said four,
Okay.
but you know what? I'll throw a fifth one in there. Let's go with you know what? Let's go with Talk to Me.
Dang it.
Talk to
I
Me
want to see that one.
was really good. That one
Hmm.
was really freaky and creative and unlike anything that I've seen in a while. And that came out 2 years ago. Another great horror movie to come out of the 2020s. That's something that I feel like I've kind of capitalized on here. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No, those are all, yeah. And there's many more that I'm sure you have, like, that are great
oh
that
yeah,
just cannot be named, you know?
yeah.
If I, so I'll do five as well. I'm going to try
Okay,
and, there are a couple from these five that I almost had, mainly because of the subgenre that I wanted to include. One of them that I really missed was comedy. I really wanted Shaun of the Dead, but I already had a zombie movie with Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
felt like that was way too close. Shaun of the
Yeah.
Dead, I watched like I think it was last September or something like that, and I loved it, man. Like so good. Creep was the found footage one that I had already mentioned
Oh,
on a
okay.
past episode, but I feel like no one's really seen that, you know?
Yeah, not enough people. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's probably that and the original Blair Witch. I think are the two best found footage that I've
Oh,
seen.
dude, Blair Witch is great, but yeah, that was 1999, so it wouldn't count.
Freaky, so close, man.
Well, Cloverfield though. Cloverfield was 2008.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Has another one. I can't remember the name. Get Out. That would be my Jordan Peele pick, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
That's my favorite so far. I still haven't seen Nope, but I think
Nope
Get
is
Out would
great.
still be my favorite. I really missed putting in. Okay, I'll say this. As far as recent entries that I've seen recently and have come out recently, Scream 5, that would have been a second slasher pick if I didn't pick Halloween.
Screen 5 and 6 are both great.
They're both great. I like Scream 5 more. I think you said you like 6 more, right?
I think I did prefer 6 just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're
Um,
both great.
Both great. Final Destination Bloodlines, that's the most recent that I could think out
I haven't
of
seen
horror
it yet.
films. That's the only Final Destination I've seen, and automatically I know it's the best. And I mean, general consensus is saying that it is the best.
Okay.
And John recently watched it. He's seen all of them. He's told me that 1 and like 5 I gotta watch. He watched Bloodlines and he was like, "Dude, wow! Like this was the right one for you to see first, even though it's the most recent one." It is. It's just I just can't explain it. You got to see it. It's just so good. Like another one of those like new 2020 films that's just like, man, dude, that like horror is back. Like it's been back, but it's back for good. And
Yeah.
hopefully at least for this decade. And
Yeah.
then
I think it will be.
one last one I'll throw in. Did I do 5 already? I think I did, but I'll throw in the Purge Anarchy just because I love that movie.
Oh yeah, you do like that one. You know, dude, I am shocked you did not mention Doctor Sleep.
Yeah, well, I still have not rewatched it yet, and I want to watch the director's cut. I remember really liking it. It's not The Shining,
Yeah.
and I just didn't want to say Doctor Sleep and not be able to really put The Shining on my list, if that makes any sense. But
That's fair.
it could have been on my honorable. I just mentioned a couple other ones, but yeah, it is really good, and I think on more rewatches I will definitely have it in higher regard. I've just only seen it once, you know.
Yeah.
2019,
fair
that's
enough.
too long ago, man. We're too old.
Dude, and
I'm old.
2019 was also a great year for horror. I do have to say that's kind of the year I feel like was the start of the comeback of the genre, and then 2020 is just like
Yeah,
piggybacked right off of it. But yeah, this is great. I think we've got
was
two
fun.
great lists. If you guys want to participate in the voting, vote in the comment section on YouTube. Will also be a poll on Spotify. You can vote in both if you'd like. And then we'll eventually see who wins, and then some episode down the line we'll reveal the winner here. But yeah, this is the first draft we've done.
Yeah.
We've got some more coming, more genre drafts down the pipeline. But yeah, dude, Justin, this was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for co-hosting with me. And
Yeah.
do you have any other final thoughts on horror films in the 21st century before we go?
I definitely will be watching quite a bit. I'll say that in the next few months leading up to October. I think this October I really want to make it a horror season. It's hard for me to say double R words. I'm realizing now. Sounds like I'm saying a different word, but I especially after doing this episode, I think when we hit October, we'll probably do another horror episode, even if it's just recapping stuff we've seen. But I don't know. But I'm really excited. I love horror films, and I think Nosferatu and Midsommar are two that I need to have like right on top of my queue, especially once August hits, like I said. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really loving the fact that we're able to do this, and yeah, dude, I'm excited, man.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, I'm excited to see what you think of Midsommar and Nosferatu. That'd be really interesting because I think those are both great.
I feel like those are gonna be better reviewed by me than the ones you haven't seen for my list. I think 2018 you'll really like. I think Dawn of the Dead is the one where I don't really know what you'll think.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I think you'll understand what I said when you re-listen to the episode. Like you might not like it,
Okay.
but you'll know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
At least. So maybe
Cool.
James Gunn's writing will pull through.
Maybe. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for today. Thanks for being here, Justin. Until next time, we'll catch you guys later.